everybody out there. We're having a workshop. We need to discuss a couple letters. In order to do this, we need to have an open forum. We don't like to pass letters back and forth through the internet. So we're going to be discussing a couple letters up here, and we appreciate you all watching, and there won't be any comments today because it's just a workshop. Okay, there's two letters that you have before you. What I'd like to do is try to see if we could get consensus on how we're going to address this letter, exactly how we want to bring it, if anybody has any comments that they want to bring up into it. My personal preference is the letter or the answers that start out at March 22nd. Yeah, right there. It goes in and it discusses the three questions that we were asked. It then goes down and lists the areas that they were asking, so that it's sort of concise. It's not a dialogue. It's actually answering the questions point blank.
So what you want to do is compare the two letters.
Yeah, just look at the two letters and more or less to see what the board's consensus is, exactly which of the statements or letters that they want. Statements, I guess, is not letters, statements. And then this will be brought into the meeting on the 28th. And then that'll be put in the minutes, and then everybody will be able to read it. I know, Mark, you're pretty good at grammar and everything, so we're expecting you to find all the mistakes.
I had an 11th grade English teacher that I'm still friends with on Facebook, actually. And she's a grammar Nazi.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I can say that the statements, like you said, they answer the questions. The three questions, number one and number two are cut and dry. I mean, that's what we did off of that. And then the justification, I wasn't there and we weren't there, so we can't understand the true justifications. There was stuff that was brought up about the land across the freeway, but that was our responsibility as far as I know. If they would have built it, we would have had to supply them with water or find them a source of water. Conroe's putting in the pipeline now, but at the time, if nothing else, we would have had to buy water from Conroe to do it in the long term, having our own plant that also served as a backup for plants or tanks or wells 1 and 2. And the one processing plant that is, I mean, I find that is...
Conroe's had a pipeline over there for years, but Nelder explained one day that the only reason they had it there, they had to get water down towards Walmart, and they actually had to buy right away from the Texas Department of Public Safety because they could not cross our property where we had jurisdiction. And that's basically how their water, now they're replacing it with a bigger one. They're putting in a bigger line.
I guess my problem with most of all that is, for me, is hearsay.
Yeah.
Because it happened, over 8 years ago. It happened way before I got on the board.
Right, me too.
And I've heard a lot of hearsay, and I can't really wrap my hands around hearsay because it becomes actual fact. And, I know that one time I'd heard that we couldn't tap into that line until they put the bigger line in.
All we had going across the street was a 2-inch line.
Right, 2-inch line.
That was put in years ago for that veterinary clinic.
Right. But we didn't have waste over there. They had a septic system.
Even when Bartonelli opened the furniture store, they tapped into our 2-inch line and used it inside the store.
And then used the fire
and
hydrant.
Used the fire hydrant from the city of Conroe for the irrigation system. So they were buying water from two sources.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they came what it does to the Conroe Annex area.
So anyway, I guess we're down to, we're down to the area of, you know, basically which format we want to use, and then to just shore up.
I think this one
Justification.
confuses the issue, puts in more than what you need.
Okay.
This one here is more to the point, direct answer, and
So let's go over the justification. As you read that, is there anything that you want changed, or you think that is
on the
confusing?
justification.
Mhm. I think the other two things are just cut and dry.
Yeah.
There's not much anything to it.
Well, it's okay to me. It's just, I mean, we don't really know the true facts.
Also want to make sure that everybody on the board feels comfortable with the statements on the back page, the last two paragraphs. Make sure everybody feels comfortable with those statements.
Last time was the same.
That's true, that's
Yeah,
true.
That's basically true.
Well, I can't see anything that they did wrong,
Yeah.
and the funding was appropriate for the project.
Yes.
Because I want to make sure this is going to be coming from the board, so I want to make sure that we have, the majority of the people on the board is happy with everything that's being said. It's going to be put into the minutes.
Not being on the board back there, we don't know all their decision-making processes. But the results of the decisions they made seem to have been legal and cost-effective.
And we have some
Because we had the plant, we had backup for Harvey. In any other case, and it's not gonna get any better flood-wise.
No.
There's, we can only look forward to plant 2 going underwater.
Plant 2 is subject to going underwater anytime we flood.
Of course, we have, you know, last time we did make some modifications to the plant by putting submersible pumps on there. So if they do go underwater, we've also raised the electrical area up higher, so if the
Plan on,
pump goes under, it can
Increase.
continue to pump.
plan on
Or
increasing
how
the
about the
berm
treatment
too.
portion of it?
You know, the
Yeah,
berm-
that's all watertight.
The height of the berm's gonna be increased too.
So I mean, those areas, so we, you know, because of the flooding, we were able to upgrade a lot of the systems
Or
before.
best thing,
There's
best thing is
actually
that-
truth in both of these.
Yeah,
Right. But what we want to do is narrow it down to one.
Okay, I would probably go with this one.
yeah, that's, I favor this one.
So is there anything that anybody wants to add or take away from it, or correct? Do we have any corrections from the I didn't have a good English teacher.
It seems, from what I see, I think the wording's good.
It's a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
Let me work on this.
Okay.
I think it's a couple sentences are repetitious.
Okay.
Where are you looking?
Down in here, the points down here, like number, 3rd point, it's, first time I read it, I got confused by it. I think the 4 points could maybe stand a little cleaning up. Which we can work on that before the meeting this week. Just the way it's.
I'm thinking it's not so much if the water well for 2 fails,
Yeah.
but the treatment. Before we had the treatment on 3, then you were pumping water to an inoperative system.
So the whole thing.
So you could have plenty of water pumping, but
Yeah.
if you couldn't treat it,
Right.
you couldn't get it over to 1.
There was a treatment plant that got contaminated, or was it the well? Or whatever. After Harvey, either the well was contaminated, or
Mhm.
there was a treatment plant.
Mhm. Nothing was, we just lost all the power.
No, not for Harvey. It was contamination in Harvey.
Was it contamination?
It was
I
contamination.
wasn't here to hard.
Yeah, it was 11 days ago. I don't know if it was a well or a tank, but it was down for 11 days.
That was power, we didn't have
No,
power.
power was off.
That
We
was
had,
water well too.
water well 2 was
It was-
contaminated
yeah,
after Harvey.
Yeah, yeah.
It was down for 11 days.
Right.
Okay.
Richard can tell you
Okay.
exactly.
Well, I'm sure,
Because he was getting frustrated with TEC, they wouldn't approve the water, it took 11 days to approve it. They were testing twice a day, I think.
so on the points in that,
Yeah,
um,
They, 3 and 4 can almost easily be combined.
yeah, that's what I mean, they're kind of repetitious.
Right. So it says on number 4, it says if the well failed for any reason, it would cause a loss of water production for both 2 and 3, but it's a plant, the treatment plant. And that's what you say on,
No, he's talking about before the treatment plant went in 3.
well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but the statement for it says if water well 2, not water treatment plant.
Oh.
A well could fail, but you still have water coming in from,
Well, 2, 3.
From 3 to
treatment
2.
plant. Yeah. They were pumping water from 3 to.
originally, before we put it, 3 to 2.
to
So-
the
And
treatment
the reason was
plant.
because the treatment plant was on 2. We put
Right.
the treatment plant on 3, now we can still pump water from 3
It's a complete system.
if 2, right?
Completed the system. It's just,
so it needs to be 4 if the water, well 2, processing failed for any reason?
well, if the treatment plant.
Yeah, the treatment plant.
Yeah, because if the water well had failed, you can still pump water from 3.
I would just say get rid of 4 and maybe beef up statement 3, because that's where you're talking about the treatment plant.
Okay.
The treatment plant for 3 was needed to provide redundancy. If you lost the treatment plant on 2,
you're out of water.
you lost everything.
I lost everything.
So get rid of 4.
It's not so much the volume we're pumping, but you have to have it treated.
Right.
Uh,
Then it has to set or something.
Right.
Which
So-
one are you getting rid of?
Number 4.
Well, you can actually get rid of statement 4 and just include a couple sentences of it in there.
Yeah, you could put in the last sentence
The last
about
sentence.
water well 1 being
The
low
last
volume.
sentence needs to be in there.
Okay.
But as far as the treatment, see,
Yeah, yeah,
the well doesn't, it's not so much the well going out,
yeah.
it's
It's
the
a
treatment.
treatment plant.
And that's what you cover right here. Before the well in 3 was installed, the water from 3 to 2 was
Either way-
processed by
either
1.
way, it'll go out.
Right.
Whether it's low value or whether it's treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
So we moved that last sentence up there, about the bullet at the end of treatment plant, put in there. Water well 1 is the low volume, cannot provide the required water for the district.
Yeah.
Okay. And then take out, 3, 4, all that other.
well, and actually that last sentence is covered in bullet 2. It says water well 3 was needed
That's what
because
it is, yeah.
water well 1's a low volume well, and it couldn't provide enough water.
That's true.
So that's covering
course, once-
the amount of water. It's a-
One's covering the water, and then the other one's covering the treatment.
You
Yeah,
can take this
we're-
first sentence, if, change this water well, word water well to treatment plant. If treatment plant number 2 would fail for any reason, it would cause loss of water protection.
I'm just saying that there's two
Both wells.
2 points you have to be made. One is the volume of water. One's insufficient to handle if 2 goes out. So you have 3, but you already had 3 run into 2.
There's
So-
2 went out and you got
so-
no water.
So you've got the well 3 and 2, but it's a treatment of the water that's, you need the backup for.
So on bullet point 4, put treatment plant 2.
2 would fail for any reason. It would cause a loss of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you could combine basically 3 and 4,
Yeah, then one point.
because they're both saying the same
Or
thing,
you can
but just 2
actually-
different ways.
Yeah, it's just, you're saying the same thing 2 different ways.
So how do you want to combine 3? Do you want to just leave it like we have it, and then just add,
Treatment, state, point 3 is okay,
just leave it like it is?
yeah.
And what do you get rid of 4?
No, you can leave 4, but change water well to treatment plant.
And actually, the last sentence of number 3, all 3 of them, it should be, before the water treatment plant at well 3 was installed, the water from wells 3 and 2 were processed by one treatment plant, but all 3 of them were.
No, one has its treatment.
One has its own?
Yeah,
Oh,
One
I'm
has a
sorry.
small treatment plant.
Yeah, one has its own. So
Okay.
now all 3 wells have their own treatment plant.
Okay,
So they're all independent.
Well, well 1 is what's supplying that water.
right, okay.
Okay, so you want to change,
I'd leave, you can actually leave point 4, but
just put
change
treatment
water
plant.
well to treatment plant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would change point 4.
That just sort of makes it,
Yeah,
drives the fact in.
drives the fact in a little more.
Okay, we'll change that. Anything else?
Yeah. Zach, what about?
Yeah. I sent it to him, I think.
Yeah.
I talked to him about it over the phone.
Yeah,
He
didn't
told me
say-
to write it up, and
Yeah.
he was happy if we're on.
I
He
talked to
said,
him.
whatever the board decides,
I
that's
talked
exactly.
to him yesterday,
Okay.
So I think we,
because I went by there to get a check from him for the Fairway
Okay.
Village. And he said he went to there, he was going to burn.
Okay.
so anyway, we'll go along with this one, we'll make that change in 4, and then we'll bring it in front of the board to bring it up, put it into the minutes,
Next meeting.
well, next week.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other things about this?
No,
No problem.
I'm good.
You're good?
yeah.
You good? You're good? I'm good.
Mhm.
Let's call meeting adjourned.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
And I'll leave this with you.
Why don't I collect all these up, and that way